Hi, everyone. Welcome to my kitchen. My name is Kimberly Knox. This is KK Spit Kitchen. We're going to do a quick little demo here today. And this is like what would happen if I wanted something to eat. And I'm going to go through my refrigerator. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Now, in this bowl, I always keep out inspiration, food that have healing benefits to them. They're not just filler foods. They're foods filled with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants that we desperately need in our body to help our cells do their job. So today we're going to do something with this delicious butternut squash I've had for a while. What else is in here? I always keep my onions out. I always have some form of sweet potatoes, shallots, things like that. So I usually at least have one form of squash in here. So I am the creator of the bioenergetic cooking method. It talks about the energy capacity of food and its effect on the body. So in here, can I even find the page? I think it's in the liver section, actually. The creamy butternut squash soup. So in each of the sections, the recipe, it talks about the ingredients and some of the primary healing capacity. And then, of course, if you go to my website, inthekitchenwithkk.com or simplecookingforvitality.com, and you order a book, you will get a free full PDF of my healing foods glossary. It's all the fruits, the veggies, the leafy greens, the nuts, the seeds, mushrooms, and it talks about the potential here. So you're getting loads of vitamin A, a very important antioxidant. Beta Carotene is converted to vitamin A in the liver, and you want a bright and unsluggish liver if you want great eyes and skin. Because in Chinese medicine, the liver energetically opens to the eyes. So you can tell if you're not doing well, you're going to have red, shot eyes, you're going to have black underneath. So that was one of the things that I saw first change in me when I started cleaning up my diet too, and really getting more nutrients into my body. Was great skin and glowing skin and eyes. And I couldn't tell, but people did. So what we're going to do is we're going to peel this. And I usually like to wear gloves because it emits like a film. It's like a protective film. Actually, no, we're not going to peel it because I'm not making soup. We're just going to cut it. And when you cut a butternut squash, and we're going to roast it or bake it. We're going to bake it at 400. So I'm going to show you how the oven's already going. And then we're going to stuff it with things I already have in the refrigerator. Super easy. So this creates really dense nutrients. So you're not just going, okay, what kind of filler food should I have? Pasta or rice, which is okay, but you have to combine other healing foods. So the knife that you're going to want to use with this is a really sharp, thin blade. And the Santoku knives, they actually offer really good potential for this because you're gonna want to get through it. And so let me just get my apron on, get my little organic sticker off, and we'll be right back. Okay, I'm geared up. Plus I have out my coarse black pepper, my Himalayan sea salt. We're gonna salt and pepper it. And I like to coat it with a virgin organic coconut oil. Coconut oil is not going to change. It's very high heat. And we're going to get parchment paper underneath it. I'm going to cover with a little bit of parchment paper so it'll create like a little bit of steam. And I don't like the foil to touch the food, so it does protect it as well. So let's get the knife in here. I did sink it in just to see how thick the skin is. So you just want to kind of work it down. You can crack it a little bit if you need to, or if the knife gets stuck, don't you worry about it. So try to get halfway through. The stem right here is usually a little bit of a stickler. Don't you worry. Just work it through. There we go. Easy, easy. So see, now when you're making spirals, I've used this part here. And then you just have a little chunk down here that you've got to get the seeds out. So I use a sharp knife on the edge. My mother taught me this years ago because we grew up in Vermont with a huge garden. So we literally had every squash you can think about. And actually, I love Hubbard squash. So let's just get a little bowl to put the seeds in. Throw them out. Yep, so we're just gonna scoop out the seeds. Just use like the end of the spoon to like peel in there. Here we go, one's done. So you don't really need to pay so much more to have this already cut for you at the store. It's not hard. You really do need to get yourself good knives. Invest in knives that you feel happy about. Similar to getting a very high-end handbag, you want to have good knives and a good cutting board, and then get them sharpened when you need them, depending on how often you cook, at least once or twice a year. Okay, so easy. So just stack them like this. Now I keep out one of these little brushes. I use it when I'm baking. So instead of getting it out all the time, because I'm cooking a lot, I just leave it out. So just grease the whole thing. The coconut oil is going to add a little bit of sweetness. All right, a little bit of sea salt and a little bit of coarse black pepper here. All right, we'll spread this around. No problem. Okay. So this is what I like to do. I like to cover it like that. It's going to create a little bit of steam, help it cook a little quicker, because we're going to stuff this with stuff from the refrigerator, which I'm going to pull out next. And we're going to cut out we're going to make a bigger hole. We're going to cut out some of the squash after it's cooked. All right, so let me get this into the oven and then we'll check out what's in the fridge. Okay, let's sort out what I found in the refrigerator. So when I was prepping for the supper club last Tuesday, I have leeks that are cut up, and these will last in the refrigerator for at least a week, right? This is fresh fennel. Now these are both in the other dish that I have stored here, which is thawed out. So that's like in a meal prep container. And this is actually the Tuscan white bean skillet, but I'm going to freshen it up and I'm going to heat up some fresh stuff here. This is just regular onions. I've got some red rice, so pink rice, pink, black, red rice, all have higher quality of antioxidant capacity. I've got some chopped up parsley and some fresh basil, and then I have some greens in here. So we're gonna put together a little stuffing mix from some of the leftovers. All right, and so let me just get out my skillet. I've got this turned on. So of course, what we're gonna do first is utilize the onions and the leeks. The leeks are from the same family. I like having all of my pans like right below me here on my prep station, and having a nice big center island is really important. So let the pan heat up. We're going to use avocado oil for this because we're going to be cooking it a little bit longer. I like to save my olive oil for dressings so it's not heated. And if I'm just quickly sauteing steamed broccoli, especially with chopped up fresh garlic. That way you keep the integrity of the oil. It doesn't change. Yep, so here is the white bean Tuscan dish. So this is still looking awesome, still smelling awesome with sun-dried tomatoes and artichokes, white beans. So we're gonna get the pan nice and warm, get in the oil, and then get some of this stuff together. Okay, so this is where having your little prep bowls that I recommend in the book, in the beginning of the book, in the intro section. These deep bowls, you can get these all on Amazon. These are a little bit smaller and flatter. So we're gonna put some of the stuff in there. It keeps everything looking neat so you don't feel overwhelmed. Let's get a nice handful out of the onions. And these leeks, delicious. There's a recipe for leek soup, which is really yummy. We'll just put them right in with the onions, so we'll put them in the same dish. So we'll get these back out of the way and back in the refrigerator. And fennel adds a really unique flavor, a little bit sweet. Let's get some fresh fennel. And then from this dish, you're gonna have, since you've spruced it up, you're gonna have stuff for the next day as well. Got some fresh basil. Let's get a little bit of the rice out. So rice, technically just a filler food. You're gonna get some nutrients from it, but you're really getting a lot of the nutrients and antioxidants from the colors and from these other, like, you know, the onions and the garlic. And so we've got a little bit of rice. We don't need too much here because it's just going to enhance what we're stuffing. And you can also use this rice, you spin it up in a food processor, make a paste with some beans, and it's a base for a veggie burger, which is fantastic. So let me get some of this stuff put away, then we will be right back. I can smell the pan getting hot. We'll get the oil in there. And we'll add in the onions and the leeks, let those get fragrant. Let's grab my favorite little spatulas here. So we can also cover this, and the heat will actually help to soften the veggies without overcooking them. But we'll just let them get fragrant a little bit first. And let's scoop out some of this Tuscan skillet. We're going to be getting some of the fresh greens. I'm going to keep those to the side here. So we have plenty of this left for something else. You can even add this skillet just to a tomato soup base, and now you've got chunkiness in your tomato soup. And they make some really good organic tomato bisque or tomato soups. So there's lots of ways to use your leftovers here. We have some fresh basil, which is perfect, which we're going to top after it's cooked. I don't want to cook. I want to have all the great benefits of the basil. We'll put a little bit in, but we will save some for topping because I want to have some raw. And I put fresh herbs in my salads all the time. And that's why the attendees at the supper club really love the salads, because you're getting those fresh herbs that you might not be getting when you go to a restaurant. And here I've got some parsley and some garlic already chopped up. So let me get some of the greens as well. Now you don't just have to use spinach as greens. And here I've got a nice mixture actually of some baby arugula and some baby romaine. So just some greens chopped up. We're only gonna cook them for a little bit. And then actually as a dish, you could just warm up some of this Tuscan skillet and put it over a bed of lettuce. So having a little bit of warmth with the greens, it's a great combination to keep your digestive fire really high. So we're gonna cover this, let it get fragrant, and then add a little bit more. Okay, things are looking and smelling good. You see, this is already giving off some of the water of the onions, which are browning up. So let's get in the fennel and get that softened up. When you make the Tuscan skillet, it's really all about layering when you're adding things into the skillet so that things aren't overcooked. We want to get these, the fennel pieces softened up a bit. And I'm also going to add some dry basil to this, and just to beef up the power here, a little bit of onion and garlic powder. So you could also use Italian, organic, the Italian seasoning mix, which will be great. And oops, got that on the wrong one. So we're gonna let that get softened up, and then we're gonna add the skillet, then some of the herbs in there, then with the rice, and then we'll just set it aside until the squash is softened up, and that's about 50 minutes. Okay, let's check it out. It's looking really good, right? You want when everything gets softened but not overcooked. It is going to go in the oven. So, all right, what else are we going to do? The greens. If you're not using them as a salad, just give them a chop with a, this is a chef's knife. This is great for chopping. Not so much chopping with this, slicing. You don't want to dull the blade. The blade is, thin part at the end there. So just run through with a nice chef knife. Get yourself 2 sizes of chef knives. Don't be afraid of the big ones here. And make sure that you get a board scraper. Not expensive, extremely important. Keeping everything nice and neat. See how that helps you clean up, and you can even scrape off your knives here. It's just so less stressful if everything is clean and organized, right? So by putting the cover on, you also add a little bit of natural water so that you don't need to add so much avocado oil. That's a great oil though. So let's get in. This is the leftover Tuscan skillet. White beans, artichokes, tomatoes. So we'll get this warmed up. And we will add some of the garlic here, the fresh parsley. So now it's just about warming up everything now that we've already softened stuff before. So we're going to let that sit. Then we're going to add the rice and the greens. You don't want to overcook these, so we'll add them in at the end. And everything's working out well. The kitchen's smelling delicious, which means I'm getting hungry. Okay, ready to check it out? Smelling awesome. We're going to add the rice. Let's talk quickly about salt. Now, especially in the summer, you might be craving a little bit more salt if you're sweating and other things. Here's where you want to put your salt. Get a really good one. I like this. Add it to your water. That way you're nourishing your kidneys at a little pinch, and you're not over flushing your body. You're nourishing your kidneys, but you're not flushing out too much potassium, which is the calming mineral. And that's where it's going to lead to arrhythmia and high blood pressure. We get really used to salt in the palate. We need to put in fresh herbs. We get used to salt in the palate because we might be eating out at restaurants a lot, or you might just be low. So salt your water, very healthy thing to do. So let's get the rice in here. And this is an organic red rice. I think it's actually pink or red, one of those. I like using that. Let's get some of the fresh basil in there. Put the greens in. And now we are going to cover it because we're just going to wilt. We're just going to wilt the greens, and the rice will heat up. I don't want to overcook it. I just want them all to blend. So that's how you can work with that. Okay, you ready to check? It is smelling amazing. Now, seriously, you could just eat this. But to add in the squash, many people want to know, what am I going to do with this butternut squash? It also creates an amazing presentation on your plate to make you look super clever in the kitchen. What was I going to say here? Oh, I love the tri-colored cracked peppers. I'm going to add some more of that. I already put the regular black in. Get different peppers Be a connoisseur of pepper. There's a lot of different ones. You can smell them all. So this is perfect right now. And you see, so while you were making this, the squash has been cooking and it's got a little while left. And then we're going to take it out. And what we're going to do is we're going to carve out a little bit bigger hole than just at the base. Use that squash in there, stuff it, put it back into the oven for just like another 15 minutes and it's done. And you're going to look like a genius. Okay, are you ready to check this out? So this parchment paper keeps in the moisture. Keep it moist, not too dried out. Helps it to cook a little longer. Now, if you want to just make your life easy, you can just fill the hole with the stuff. But I actually like to make it a little bit bigger. So all you do is take a sharp knife, see how it's tender now. So you test it while you're baking it to make sure it's fork tender. I just use this knife since I'm going to use it already. Then I'm just cutting a hole in it. And then I'm just going to scoop these babies out. And I'm going to put them here. I'm going to just add them to this pan. I'm just going to add the chunks to this. I might cut them up a little bit more. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, so you just use the knife just to guide a bigger area that you want to cut out, and then just slice it up. And then use the spoon just to scoop it out, almost like you're scooping out a melon, pieces of a melon. So we're going to add all this back. Okay, fantastic. Now we have more space to add this delicious filling. Let's just give these a little cut here. These cubes, and we're going to mix it all in. I've tasted some of this already because I was super hungry just from smelling that. And that's one of the great reasons of cooking at home, is because you really prepared your body to receive food. You want to, your brain, that's where it all starts, helps to release the digestive acid in your stomach to prepare, to help break down the food properly. And that's what you want. Okay, so let's get this filled. You could actually use a measuring cup too to get this all in there. And overfill it a little bit so it looks pretty stunning. Doesn't that look great? We'll do the other one, then we're just gonna pop it back into the oven. Just for another, oops, sorry. Sticky a mess here. Just for another like 10 minutes. And cover it, keeping everything nice and moist. And then you're just gonna top it with some fresh basil. Make sure you get some of all the colors. These are fresh tomatoes. Alrighty. So let's get it covered up again. Just draping it here. And going back into the oven at 400 for another about 10 minutes. In the meantime, I've already made cookies, so you can do other things too. Okay, let's get this out of the oven. If you like these videos, give me a thumbs up, share them. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. So, it doesn't take long. Since the stuffing was already pre-cooked, I'm just kind of combining all of the flavors here. Look how magnificent. You're gonna look like a genius. So easy. So now they can, your guests can do it. Well, this is my plate. So even if you're eating alone, you must make it look great, because it is a gift to feed your body and feed it well and to feel nourished. Your cells want to do the work. They just need all the right tools. So here we're just going to add some fresh basil to the top. And we are seriously done. Just from simple things in the refrigerator and some really great foods that you should always have on hand. Squashes especially. Okay, so hope you loved this quick little video. And if you want to check me out on Instagram, it's under KK's for Kitchen. Bye, guys.